Before we can get into this episode of the DevCast, be sure to like, subscribe, and join our community linked down below. Hello everyone and welcome to the DevCast, your weekly Roblox podcast for all Roblox-related content and personal up-close interviews and conversations with some of your favorite Roblox creators. I am your host, Dev for Hire, and this is my co-host, Unix developer, and we're here with Cisse's, let's just say the third wheel, of course. Is of what you've essentially asked us to refer you to. But not a salaried employee, not a creative director, the third wheel. Welcome to our new weekly news roundup, where we talk about all the spicy stuff that's been happening this week. So, of course, we should actually just dive straight into it. And, of course, I'm just going to essentially break down our topics. But before we actually get started, I would just like to ask, how have you guys been doing this week? Yeah, next.
All right.
You guys. Yeah.
So, it's a little more complicated when there's more than one person now. So,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
My week, as you know, I've been working all week, so a lot.
Right.
I've been busy. I've been pretty busy. I've also been working on some stuff, on the side for development-wise, but other than that, just relaxing, chilling.
Yeah. And you, Unix?
It's been an interesting week. Busy with work and that. And then
Alright.
fitting in for this, which is quite interesting.
Alright.
And a lot of sleep.
Oh. Okay. Okay, well.
Which you have
Yeah.
a lot of too.
Yeah. Alright. Okay, well, actually, there's been a lot of interesting news that's been happening this week. But, of course, we've handpicked just a few, topics we'd just like to discuss at the moment. So I'm just going to quickly break down the topics now for everyone to, essentially understand what the topics are for this week. So, okay, firstly, people who have been logging into Roblox China have essentially been losing money. They've been absolutely absolutely conned. Their money, it's just been absolutely stolen from them as they log into Roblox China. David Baszucki has started a new podcast, which is quite interesting. We'll actually also get into that. Roblox voice chat has recently been leaked on Apple. A new pop-up on Apple devices have been, essentially requesting your audio for you to use on Roblox. RDC Level Up Roundtables by Dev Relations. There's been a new episode which is released. And I have a few thoughts. I think we all have a few thoughts on those roundtable episodes, of course. And the UGC program has opened, and has recently opened, and it closes before September 1st. All right, let's dive straight into the first topic, of course. So, as you guys know, Roblox China has been quite new as of recent, because of the partnership with Roblox and China. And of course, for some reason, people logging into Roblox China have been absolutely, just being robbed, of course, but no one actually knows why. In fact, I wouldn't trust Roblox security in general, but do you guys happen to have any thoughts on on why people are actually losing their Robux as they log into Roblox China? Do you guys happen to have any theories or theorizations?
From what I understood, the rumors are that people in Roblox China cannot use currency. It has something to do with the rules of Roblox China specifically, which is where the bug actually stemmed from, which it set your account Robux obviously value to 0. This is obviously pretty much a rumor. I can't verify this, but it's something that's been going on in the Roblox Twitter community from what I understand. But I think it's almost silly that there wasn't one engineer at Roblox who logged into their account and saw that their value of Robux went to 0 in China.
Oh,
I mean, this was definitely one of those silly mistakes that someone should have caught on earlier than how long it took. But I mean, things like that happen in the engineering world.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I feel like Roblox security at this point, in general as well, is just like as thin as paper. I mean,
I don't think it's security. Yeah.
you think it's
I
just
just
maybe being
don't.
clumsy necessarily?
I just think what's happened is the software thinks it's like ones and zeros and crap. It's a switch. When your account is logged into the foreign network, which I'm going to put as foreign as China,
Yeah.
it then sets on your account. I think it changes a switch on your account saying it's a Chinese account. I think
Yeah.
as soon as it sets it to a Chinese account, everything just wipes. And I think
Yeah.
something's gone wrong there.
Yeah, I can certainly say that. Yeah.
So I think all they need to probably do is make a feature in there that says, is this account an international account or is it a China account? And it just makes it the two differences.
Yeah.
I mean, to clarify, this bug has been resolved.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it has been fixed. And Unix is correct. It wasn't a security concern. It was more of a bug within the software that had to do with people trying to use VPNs and logging in through Roblox China, and their location changes the settings of your account, and that's what led to this bug.
Oh, all right. Well, okay, but did people get refunded their Robux in the end?
Not sure, but I would be pretty pissed
Oh,
not to get my
no! No! That's
I
terrible!
mean the amount of
That's
emails to Roblox support, like, well, I used the VPN, I logged into Roblox China, and I have 0 Robux now.
What a disaster. Well, hopefully people do get back their Robux. But yeah, that was actually an interesting conversation about Roblox China. And yeah, we're just going to be moving on. Of course, now, recently, David Baszucki has become a podcaster, strangely enough. He has started his own podcast, which is, I didn't actually expect him to do that. I think, there's actually a lot of podcasting platforms now. I'm not sure if RDC Level Up roundtables are essentially a podcast, but I guess they are long enough to be. So yeah, I think there's some sort of like an era of podcasting going on right now in the Roblox community, which I think is fantastic. David Baszucki, if you want to, hit me up and get me on that podcast, I wouldn't mind that at all. I don't think we'd mind at all. But yeah, so far, Unix and I have taken a listen into. Essentially, we've taken a listen into into his most recent podcast episode. And we do actually have a couple of thoughts regarding that. In terms of my thoughts, I think it is very exclusive. I don't think, if you're a random generic person on the street, I don't think you're going to understand what the heck's going on there in that episode. I think it takes a lot of technological knowledge, of course. It's not for the average person, essentially, who's just walking on the street. Or even a Roblox developer. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on how sophisticated you are.
It's borderline.
Yeah.
Because the terminology used in there is probably software engineer / developer in that sense. I mean, they're very sophisticated.
Yeah.
They talk about some updates in there. I think that podcast has just clarified a lot of the rumors that have been coming out, revelations and things like that. So
yeah.
It has been an eye opener from that point of view.
What frustrates, I actually enjoyed the episode somewhat, but there was one thing that did frustrate me a lot. Was they were talking about, David was essentially talking about the metaverse and the whole concept of the metaverse, and what the metaverse consists of, but there's no direct answer in the end to what the metaverse actually is. Like as a it's I think to them it just is this huge, insane technological advancement of everyone being able to simultaneously connect on different devices. I mean, that's that is essentially their description of it. But
well, I also think, to stop you on that, I also think that David wants to leave it open up to interpretation. I think he wants the listener to really to build their own definition of what the metaverse is. I also think, in my own honest opinion, that he really doesn't have a full definition of what the metaverse is either, right?
I'm not
Because
surprised if
I
that's
think
the
I
case.
think
Yeah.
I think he's slowly building Roblox into a metaverse, but he doesn't exactly know where he's going with it. And I think that's actually a really interesting thing because as he's building it, he's kind of making the decisions about Roblox. And he doesn't really have like a strict pathway of what the metaverse has to be. The metaverse is open to a bunch of different interpretations, and I think it's really interesting that we really don't know which direction the metaverse will go in.
Yeah. Well, I think it. I mean, I think somewhere along the line in the podcast, he eventually did say, "Well, we're waiting for that one user to upload an experience like no other, or any other, or something like that." And of course, and he says, and that person will define truly what the metaverse is. So it's like I don't know, like I guess it's like a race almost. Like it's like let's go.
That there's such shade thrown at .me developers right there. Like that's not the next level experience
Yeah.
Roblox is waiting for. The millions of concurrent
Oh no.
players.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
that's unbelievable. I mean, that they don't recognize Adopt Me. I mean, Adopt Me was revolutionary to the platform. I mean, they hit numbers that we've never seen before.
Yeah, that's
I think
true.
that was I think that would have been actually a great definition of what the metaverse is.
Yeah, I guess what the metaverse
Yeah,
is
but
right now is Adopt Me.
But you know why they can't say that, because they'll just people will say that's favoritism, so they can't
No, well,
define it as that. Think
well, of
about it.
course,
Let's say a game studio on Roblox reaches the highest of its peak. Most games will eventually lose players and just die. So they can't exactly define the specific game that's on the platform as the metaverse, because when it dies, then they're in a hole, then, aren't they? Because the metaverse and in the metaverse has then technically died. So they have to keep the image of it as this thing that you can't actually vision, but
I
it's
guess
just
so.
there.
Yeah, that makes
That's
a lot of
how I
sense.
see it.
All right. Yeah, I don't think we have anything much more to necessarily say about that, but that's quite interesting about what they talked about on their podcast. And of course, just a lot of engineering jargon as well being used and thrown around, which, of course, like I said, most average people won't understand unless you're like a computer based engineer. Okay, all right. Now, let's just move on. Recently, Roblox voice chat is likely on the very brink of being rolled out, but that could not be the case either. We'll see what happens. But recently, a voice chat pop-up leak has been leaked on Apple devices, essentially, requesting your microphone for you to use it. So I think that 100% actually confirms that voice chat will be on mobile devices, which I didn't actually think that was going to be even possible. I didn't even think they were going to use mobile. And I mean, I feel like it makes it terrible. I guess more, how to say this? 12-year-olds getting onto the platform, I guess.
Well, there's loads of issues with it.
I mean, how do you even? It makes me wonder, because I know you can verify for voice chat, but I don't even know how you even begin to do it on mobile. Will they be able to?
It'll be the same system. It'll be the same thing. It'll be on your profile. So you go on your profile on Roblox. This is probably how they do it. No profile. And just like you can like change your gender and all that stuff, you'll be able to like go probably like a voice chat or something like that, and then you go verify your credentials or whatever, or they just ditch that and go sod it.
Yeah.
I think Roblox is spying on us. I think this is the way that they finally
this could be the start. Yeah, this could be. I mean, wait, but who's to say? Who's to say that they haven't been doing this from the start? I'm just saying, like Roblox spying with your camera or something, like using your camera. I mean, it's no stranger that some apps actually do that. I mean, who's to say that the Roblox app doesn't spy?
It's actually a good segue into privacy, because what stops a
Roblox from recording your
Roblox
voice.
player from well, not just that, but you also have the concern of, if from what I understand, the Roblox voice chat is supposed to be exclusive to 18-year-olds or above. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's what they said. What stops a kid from taking his parents' ID, uploading it up there?
I mean, no, I actually asked this.
Of it and then bang, done.
Yeah, I've. Oh no, this is I swear this is gonna be a disaster. We're gonna see so many 8 to 12-year-olds, and even a little bit higher. Oh, this is gonna be terrible. This is gonna be terrible because I even asked.
Ban them, surely.
No,
Surely they can't ban them.
but that's what I was going to ask. I actually I posed a question on Twitter. I actually posed 2 questions. I said, okay, with voice chat. So who's to stop? Let's just say you're away at the moment, right? But let's just say, who's to stop them from using your ID and then hopping onto your account and then, essentially playing on your account with your, like let's just say you actually lend your character to your younger sibling and you've actually already signed up. Who's to, say who gets in trouble? Do you get in trouble because you borrowed it to your little sibling and you have voice chat enabled and everything? Or, and then the second one is, I think... Yeah, who's to say that, they exactly what you guys said, they could just use your ID, Roblox, essentially. And...
Roblox does say, I think, explicitly in their terms of service that you should. Maybe it's not a terms of service thing, but they do recommend that you don't loan your account to others, and that it's your responsibility. If you do give your account to others, that you're responsible for everything that goes on that account. So I think that if I know Roblox, I think they will start moderating these accounts, right? Because that's the only way to prove a point and say you shouldn't be giving your account to sibling. Your sibling should make a separate account.
But then there's another issue though. This whole thing, I agree with that. There's another issue. Okay, let's say my voice still hasn't properly broken yet. Now, I'm 19.
Oh, that's hilarious.
How can they mistake me?
Oh, that would be so hilarious. Yeah, does this mean that Roblox have to be judgmental? What if because I got a terrible mic. I sound like a 16-year-old sometimes. And then now, what I'm saying? And then I'm going around playing games and I'm registered at 19 years old. But then they mistake it as a young person actually playing on your account, and then they actually ban you because they judged your voice and how it sounds.
Well,
how do they detect the age?
All I can say is that we're gonna have a bunch of screeching kids just yelling into the microphone every game. I actually really hope there is a way to turn how you have like volume settings. I really hope there's a way to turn off your volume to hear in-game audio, separate audio. Yeah, because if I think that as soon as this update comes out, there is going to be so many problems to start off with that they're going to have to figure out that I don't think a lot of older people are going to be using this feature.
No.
I think that,
nope.
I also think the headache of uploading your ID and having
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, having that mistrust of they have your ID now. I don't know how many people are gonna go for that.
Okay. I think you know what? I think there should be extra. I think there should be extra steps. I don't think it should be your ID as well. I feel like they should have to verify that you own a property of land or something. That's even really hard.
They need your social security
or
number,
something
your
like
date
that.
of birth.
Yeah. Then
give David Baszucki your social security number and date of birth, and he'll take all your Robux from your account and he won't give it back.
Well, there we go. I guess that's it. But I think that was a great discussion, and we'll see what happens with voice chat. But unfortunately, you know what? I'm gonna make a prediction right now at this very spot before we move on. I think they're gonna roll it back. I think they're going to roll it out, and then I think what happens is chaos is going to go down, and they're going to roll it back. And the reason I say this is because of how much of a disaster display names were. People were putting Nazi signs all over the place, racial slurs. It was absolutely terrible, and they just didn't even give a damn. So.
Well, they did, and I think it took them a while to find out.
Yeah, it did take a while because they're that slow.
The bottom of the chain realised there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It went so slow up the chain of command.
It was terrible.
Get someone to sort it.
They did it.
Just...
They handled it so poorly. But anyway, all right. Time to actually move on. So actually, recently this week, there's been an RDC Level Up Roundtable, which is hosted by Dev Relations. They usually release episodes. I don't know if it's necessarily on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. I'm not exactly sure. But we actually had an interesting conversation. Now that RDC roundtables are being released at the moment, Do you guys purposely think that, as a result, we won't ever need RDC in the future? Because, of course, RDC, as we know it, is actually quite costly, It's actually quite costly to host the physical event and everything. Recently, they actually opened up RDC to both virtual and physical, so you can actually attend. But, do you guys think that RDC should continue as usual? Because
I think it needs a whole rebrand. I don't believe that RDC is what it used to be about. I think it's more of a social gathering than it is a developer conference now. I think that the round table is the new way of Roblox to do. Because I don't think that there should just be one time during the year that Roblox does these resourceful videos, right? This should be like continuing throughout the year, right?
yeah,
Think that the social gathering aspect of having developers come together is
very primitive,
what
I would say.
RDC is now. Yeah, it's now what should be their most important aspect of RDC. The next aspect that's really
Yeah, yeah,
important is the features that they put out during RDC that they're gonna add to their this is what we want to do. That's something a lot of people tune into too. But this idea that to have conferences and to talk about Roblox development, I think that Roundtable is doing a pretty good job already of doing this type of stuff, and I don't think this is something that they need to keep in RDC
yeah,
to
yeah.
have, because I don't think people need it. I think that now you have Roundtable and it does a good job at that.
Yeah, yeah, and I was listening to an episode of, the RDC Level Up Roundtable, right? And they were, this is, of course, by Dev Relations, and in that exact episode that they were talking about, which is quite interesting, they were talking about, I think they were talking about updates when you add to your game, I think, what is it, I think it's like what's it called? Game releases or thing like when you like content releases. So they're talking about content releases and what you could do when it comes to content releases to keep your players engaged and everything. I can tell you right now, everything that they said in that one single episode is what I hear at RDC every single year. Every single year. And that maybe sometimes even consists of like 50% of everything.
It's like David Baszucki and his vision. Like he said vision 175 times during RDC.
Wait, you actually counted?
No. I mean, it's obviously an over-exaggeration, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he said it so many times that, I mean, it became a meme, remember? It was on Twitter the whole time after.
Yeah.
But that actually is a really good representation of how RDC feels in terms of the presentation aspect of RDC. Every time I watch RDC, and I think I started watching it from 2016 or something, it felt like the presentations were the same, just different people giving it, because every year there's different developers that take the spotlight, right? So every year a different developer sometimes gives these presentations, but I feel like they're saying the exact same thing, just differently. I'm not getting any new information.
Yeah, that's true. I do think I do think information is resurfaced every single year to try and drill it into people's brains. But in all honesty, yeah, I don't think there is actually a lot of, I mean, what can you necessarily talk about, I think it's the same information every single year in terms of IDC, but of course, it's either rechanged in terms of the way how they describe things, or sometimes they actually do add different things and different, all these different types of things, but I also think it's also kind of bad if they add too much to RDC as well, because I feel like then they are diluting the simple message that they want to give out to developers. But how do you make RDC interesting without having to relay the same information over and over? And I think that's a question we should all essentially be asking. And I think whatever what this RDC roundtable thing is, I think that's perfect, because if they have to pump out episodes consistently more, I think that means that they have to constantly come up with new ideas, if that makes sense, as opposed to just rather than having a regular RDC every year.
Well, the thing I just want to add on to that pretty quick is that I think what they need to do is when they come up with new features on Roblox, they should be giving presentations about how you could be using those and they do, but it should be limited to those presentations because these are new features, right? So people should learn about how you should use these new features to improve your game. But if you're repeating the same thing business wise about making a game, I feel like that's where it's unnecessary, and I think that you're getting the same repetitiveness every year, like you said, right? I think the presentations are only needed when you have a new feature that's coming up, and they need to educate the Roblox community about how to implement these features.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, I think I'll just leave it at that. But I could certainly agree with you on that. Yeah, RDC is evolving and changing in various different ways. They did say that this RDC Level Up Roundtable essentially is not going to be replacing RDC. RDC will still be remaining, but we're just essentially discussing, we're just discussing the possibility of, if RDC is even worth it anymore, and they could just stick to the roundtables. I think that's a discussion that no one has necessarily talked about. All right.
Yeah, but I think I know why. I think I know why. It's to keep the tradition. It's a tradition.
Yeah, it is a tradition, of course. People were even whining and, they were moaning like, oh, I can't go to RDC physically this year. No.
If they removed RDC from the community, they would be rioting in the streets. They will be rioting outside the Roblox HQ until David Baszucki comes out there and gets it back on. I mean, you cannot remove RDC.
I guess people really just want to pitch up for the free food and water and drinks and just the social aspect. I guess that's just it.
It's the Bloxy Cola, guys. They put something into the Bloxy Cola.
Well, yeah, we did.
Well, if I got invited, I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, but no, in terms of there's Bloxy. Apparently, I don't know. Those Bloxy colors were quite weird and wacky. No one necessarily knows the ingredients of those. Some people say it tasted like chicken, and then some people say it tasted like Red Bull.
Energy.
Yeah, Monster Energy. Yeah, some people.
Yeah, Monster
or Red
Energy
Bull.
Too.
Yeah, it was quite weird. It was like, okay, just how about making an actual cola? Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, I think we're gonna actually just leave it to. I think we can go all day about RDC. Lastly, we're on our last topic today. Is the UGC program has recently opened up, and it closes before September 1st, and that's essentially all the info that I necessarily got. But yeah, there was a few interesting things that we actually got into discussion about. Because okay, we can go on about RDC. The UGC community all day, or UGC program being open at the current moment, or how some people feel that they're unfairly treated regarding how the entrance works, because I know quite a couple of large people who are actually really talented in texturing and meshing, but they still haven't made it into UGC. But there was one particular opinion that I remember you said that you had, C-Says, and that is you don't understand the outrage and the fury over people and their people regarding people having to purchase developers to make hats for them and then release them on the UGC platform, and then having to reap the reward to make money from that.
This had to do with a forum article I recently saw where someone was willing to pay a specific amount of Robux to have a certain amount of models or UGC items created to submit into their portfolio. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know it's controversial. I know that a lot of UGC creators are probably going to disagree because they put in, no disrespect to them, they do put in a lot of effort into the UGC program. They do make their own hats. But like anything else, UGC is a business, right? It needs to be treated like a business. When you have people paying to get into the UGC program, that's not exactly unfair in my opinion, because you also have Roblox YouTubers who pay to get their hats made as well. And Roblox is completely aware that Roblox YouTubers don't have 3D modeling experience, right? So why are we allowing Roblox YouTubers to pay and not an average developer who's like a scripter who wants to make UGC items not allowed to pay for items? It doesn't make sense. It's unfair to Roblox developers. I think it's favoritism to Roblox YouTubers.
And to add on to that, essentially, I don't think there necessarily is a wrong, I don't think it's necessarily wrong to do exactly that, because it's already happened within a specific area of Roblox already, and that is of course games. Apparently, there's large, giant corporate companies that are actually coming to Roblox and actually picking up developers and making their own games with them. They're literally paying developers to make that game for them. I mean, as you could tell from last week's drama, there was a game called Cookie Run Kingdom, and essentially they just threw money out there as a prize to whoever can actually make their game. And of course, they didn't really specify much on credit, and that's why there was so much in terms of like actual drama. But that's a prime example right there.
Don't see a problem with that. It's the same with UGC.
I mean, if people are actually cool,
because when people buy, let's say a YouTuber gets someone to create an asset they want, they're not going to get the person who made it, who got paid to make it, isn't going to get credited. So if a UGC that doesn't happen. Why does it happen when in other things it doesn't add up? But I think it's just
as long as you're giving the developer credit, there should be no problem with it. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, we know that UGC that doesn't happen when someone buys an asset. It doesn't.
Okay, but that's another whole thing altogether. Actually,
Yeah, that's more of a problem within the UGC community and who they let into the program, right? I don't think that's a different discussion that you could talk about the verification of UGC creators, how you can confirm, whether they're making their own stuff. That's a separate topic, I feel. This mostly has to do with, paying to be able to get into the UGC program, essentially.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Well, I think we're going to actually just leave it up to there. Anyone, if you guys have your own opinions, you guys can comment down below. Because of course we can't go on for this forever. But yeah, if you guys have any opinions or any thoughts, please share them down below in the comments. If there's anything else you guys would like to say last minute before we go, we'll be ending off this episode round about now, I guess. Yeah. Any last thoughts? Any last sayings before we end this episode?
David Baszucki is listening. He is listening to you.
Hopefully, yeah. Well, yeah, considering he's starting a podcast, maybe he's looking around for podcasts, so we'll actually see. Maybe he actually is listening. If he is listening, I think I'm actually quite terrified. But anyway, alright, thank you guys for all tuning into our weekly news roundup. We'll see you guys all, next week. See you guys. Alright.